Hey everyone, welcome back to Manscending. It's Colin here, and I am excited to have our first guest on the channel, my brother Cameron. He has a bachelor's in illustration from RISD and just earned an MFA in interactive design and video game development from the Savannah College of Art and Design. Today we're going to be talking video games as community building, while we do some building of our own. Huge shout out to Christian for recommending all the parts that went into this PC, and I hope you all enjoy. We have been brothers for my entire life. And one of the ways, we fought a lot growing up, but one of the ways that we really connected was through video games and playing games. I wonder what exactly is it about video games that can create a sense of community that can really bring people together.
So I actually think this will be interesting because I haven't even talked to you about this outside of this. But just a little background: I've been drawing monsters and dragons since I can remember, so 4 or 5 years old. And I've always been interested in the scary and the weird and the abnormal, especially like creatures and characters and stuff. So I've always had an affinity for that. I go to the library and just pick up dragon books and just redraw those forever. So I automatically from the get-go had a very strong attraction to games because it did what I was trying to do with my little sketches as my little 6-year-old self, which is kind of portray a world that doesn't exist in a media that others can take in and absorb. In terms of multiplayer and playing with others, I played a lot of solo games for a really, really long time. I'd say the first real multiplayer game that I played online with other people has to be World of Warcraft during the Wrath of the Lich King expansion in 2009 when I was in high school. That was the real turning point. I played with my best friend and we just had a blast. And that kind of transition and that sparked my interest in what other games are out there. Because the whole point of MMOs, mass multiplayer online role playing games, is the community. And that is something that I've always been focused on. I'm again more of a story and world building guy, but the sense of community that you get if you look for it, it can be really, really powerful. But yeah, we've tried a few games in our past. We've played a lot of Minecraft together too, especially in high school with mods. Yeah. We created whole magical systems. We each became specialists in certain mods and whatnot. It was a really good experience.
Well, that was for me one of my favorite things is the imagination and building a world and creating a world together and being a part of a world with someone else. I played a lot of single player Minecraft, but it got to the point where I was building all of this stuff that I really had fun doing, but then it would just sit there and there was no one to show it to really, and it was space that wasn't really being used at all. And it wasn't until playing with you and with other people that it finally started to really click as something this is very fun, and this is a way that I feel more connected to people.
The thing where I feel you get the greatest sense of community, the greatest sense of social connection in games is if you're playing with someone else to achieve a common goal. That's why I'm personally a big strategy game fan, is because a lot of strategy games, teamwork can really make such a big difference.
I want to just bring it back to the idea of toxicity in video games.
Mm-hmm.
You've played a lot of games.
Yeah.
What has been some of your strategies for either when you come up against, whether it's a toxic community or a particular another person who's playing a game, or just the game itself? What are some ways that you either disengage with that or navigate that?
You're always going to find some toxicity in games, just like you're always going to find some dicks in the YouTube comments. It's just how it's going to be. But how you handle it is what, for me, especially in World of Warcraft, because there are a lot of trolls there too, at least when I was playing. And the easiest way is just be really nice to them and kill them with kindness. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you just gotta keep on moving on, and if something pisses you off or disrupts your game, move on. Don't play it. Find an alternative. There's so many good games out there being produced by so many small companies now. With that, it wasn't always the case. I got sucked in a lot, but now because I know more about how the development works, how much work goes into it, how much time it takes to just model a single character, I play games with a much gentler outlook on them.
What do you mean by a gentler approach?
I go in with a much more approach of, wow, what did they do well? Rather than, okay, let's see, if they meet their expectations, if they live up to, my standards. It doesn't really matter as long as you have a good time and you have fun playing it, and it's not doesn't ruin your day. Like that's perfectly fine, in my book.
I think I really like that approach of looking for things that you enjoy rather than things that you don't. I mean, there will be things in both of those categories.
Yeah, there's always
but,
things in both those
you
categories.
you have the choice to focus on one or the other. As we are completing this computer, um, it took a little time for us to actually get it to connect to the monitor, but we finally did.
We got it working.
I want to say thanks.
No problem, bud.
Thanks
Thanks for
for-
having me on.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I look forward to dominating mortal empires.
Oh
with you
yeah,
in
we're gonna
Warhammer 2.
take all of the old world, and the high elves are just the beginning.
And I guess I wanna pose a question as well, just out there. In how do we? Hold on, I gotta think of it though.
Why do you like the games you like? If there's a community that makes that game precious to you, what about it makes that thing precious? What do you really enjoy from that regard? And what do you think? If you think they get the same feeling from it, how can you improve their experience through the community? Because if you can make someone else's day better in a game, especially where there's so many trolls out there, that could mean the world to that person.
Thanks for that, Cam.
I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for.
I think it's at the very least the question that I was looking for. And with that, we will see you all next time. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.